Once the Romans left Wales around 400 AD, groups started to form and grow until around the year 500 AD, when those groups became kingdoms. The three most notable of which were named Powys, Gwynedd, and Deheubarth. Although Deheubarth didn't actually become a kingdom until about 900 AD. Today I'd like to focus on just one of these kingdoms, Powys. The name Powys only really started popping up in text around the 6th and 7th centuries AD, in poems by poets such as Llywelyn and Taliesin. Before then, it was called Tyrnchwg. The name Powys also got popularized by the Historia Britanniae, or the History of Britain, a piece of literature written by an anonymous author in the year 828. In the year 549, the Justinian plague ravaged Europe, Asia, and Africa, killing over 50 million people in total. Powys also took a hit from this, killing thousands of people. This and thousands of English settlers moving to Powys made King Brachwel Istrog move the capital of Powys from Verconium Cornvorium to Penguern. The Battle of Chester in the year 616 AD is thought to be the war that really shaped the Welsh borders. The battle was fought between the English Northumbrians on one side and the kingdoms of Powys, Gwynedd, and the English kingdom of Mercia on the other. The outcome of the battle was an outstanding Northumbrian victory, although historians and even people who lived during this time are still baffled as to why the Northumbrian king Ethelfrith would invade these kingdoms. The places he invaded had no strategic value. And another strange thing is that during the battle, the Welsh kingdoms had brought monks with them to pray for their success. During the battle, by order of King Ethelfrith, those monks were killed. It is reported that the reasoning Ethelfrith gave for the killing of the monks was, and I quote, "If they are praying to their God against us, even if they do not bear arms, they are fighting against us, assailing us as they do with our prayers for our defeat." Ethelfrith goes on to die later that year. Now, Powys being the easternmost kingdom of Wales, it was constantly attacked by English kingdoms. But in the years 655, 705 through 707, and 722, Powys actually led successful campaigns against the Mercians. In the year 780, the king of Mercia, King Offa, began construction on a ditch called Offa's Dyke, which was an unofficial border between Powys and Mercia. Then, later in the year 822, the Mercians invaded Powys, and in 828, Powys is freed by King Cyngen ap Cadell until 853, when Mercia once again invades Powys. Although King Cyngen ap Cadell leaves Powys and goes on a pilgrimage to Rome. Soon after, in the year 854, King Cyngen ap Cadell dies in Rome, and the kingdom of Powys goes to his nephew, King Rhodri Mar of Gwynedd. Later on, King Rhodri Mar also becomes king of a Welsh kingdom called Saeschwg. This massive kingdom lasts until King Rhodri's death in the year 878. Then the three kingdoms are split between his three sons, Honorad, Murfine, and Cadell. Cadell becomes king of Saeschwg, Honorad becomes king of Gwynedd, and Murfine becomes king of Powys. King Cadell of Saeschwg had a son named Hywel Dda, who, after his father's death in 909, had to split the kingdom of Saeschwg with his brother Clydog. Clydog dies in 920, making Hywel Dda the sole ruler of Saeschwg, and because of a marriage, he also became the ruler of Dyfed, forming the kingdom of Deheubarth. Fast forward to the year 939, when the English king Aethelstan died, and his half-brother Edmund became king of England. The king of Gwynedd at the time, King Idwal was afraid that King Edmund of England would attack him, so King Idwal decided to attack first. But this proved to be a bad idea when he was killed in battle. Idwal's sons, Lago and Leuf, should have gotten the throne, but instead Hywel Dda pushed them into exile and took the throne for himself. Hywel Dda wanted more, so he took Powys from his cousin Llywelyn. Now this was the extent of the kingdom. It was so large that only two other Welsh kingdoms were left, and they were the small southern kingdoms of Gwent and Gleising. Hywel Dda died in the year 950 and his kingdom was divided. Gwynedd was taken back by Lago and Leuf. Deheubarth was ruled jointly by Hywel's three sons, and along with jointly ruling Deheubarth, Powys also fell into the hands of Hywel's eldest son, Owain ap Hywel. After that, Powys was ruled with relative peace until the year 1160. The last king of Powys, King Madog ap Marud, died, and soon after his son was killed. The kingdom was then divided into two parts, Powys Fadog and Powys Weniowain. The kingdoms never really managed to grow after dividing, and only lasted about 100 years each, before being taken over by the English and neighboring kingdom. And just like that, this over 500-year-old kingdom was gone.